Hello. Got on here a couple, probably just like a minute early. I just wanted to get on and make sure of the lighting and give everyone time to get on because I know everyone's going to start jumping on in a few minutes. I just wanted to make sure I had everything together, reading over my notes and just making sure I got everything on. So yes, I'm wearing the same sweater that I wore for my first live with you guys. It's my comfy sweater. Grayson always called it my old lady sweater. Very proud of that. I think I earned that old lady sweater. Wearing my necklace, as you guys saw last time. I have a charm on it now. It's his birthstone. I just added that recently, so this is the only thing I get to hold close to my heart that is his. So I see everyone that's jumping on. The reason why I wanted to do this one, which I started the last time, and it was just a spur of the moment thing, so I couldn't get all my thoughts out. So with this one, I wanted to make sure that I got all my thoughts down on paper. So I keep looking down because I'm making sure that I have everything. I'm in my oldest son's room that he just recently bought a house and he moved out. He is doing very well. Everyone that's reached out to him, I cannot thank you enough. So this lovely background that I have, my kids like bold colors. Grayson had the orange, he has the burgundy. So this room is actually going to be our office. So my lives will be coming out of this room. So you'll always see this background, maybe a little bit more decorative. But I see everyone is hopping on. I wanted to make this one as, my words, as raw as possible. And I see all of you with the hearts. You have no idea how much that means to me. And I really, really appreciate this. I hope that you take something from this because all of you have been reaching out, especially today. This week's a hard one, but I wanted to put my thoughts down on paper and try to get them coherent as possible. And I've been saying this is my platform now. This is something that I'm going forward. I've had a lot of people reach out to me and they say they want me to speak at events, and I'm saying yes. So if there's something that you're aware of, I'm available. This is something that I'm going forward now. I put my essential oils on, have a couple of them to kind of get me through this. So this week is probably one of the hardest weeks we've had to go through, besides the fact when he left. And it's still very hard for me to say things. So I can't always express. I can say he's passed. I can say he left. But I can't say other words. Not there yet. So with this, this week, Monday the 17th, was 1 month without my son. Today would have been his 17th birthday. So happy birthday in heaven. Today we both, all of us, took the day off to be together as family. We really needed this today. It was not easy getting out of bed this morning. Not easy at all. And having to face people. And it's hard. So with that, what I've been learning and joining other groups, talking to people, is there are things that people say on a constant basis. And there are things that us grieving parents, grieving persons, spouses, go through life. And people who have not gone through just don't comprehend the words that they say. They come from a good place in their hearts, but they're not quite understanding the words that they're saying actually angers us who are in grieving. So I'm going to go through all these things, and I put them in blocks because that's the best way my brain works. So bear with me if I jump around. I'm just trying to go through these things. So I put it in blocks as of reminders, effects, feelings, emotions, and then how to deal with people who are going through grieving. I think that's the biggest thing that people need to understand. So with the reminders, I want you to really think about what you do on a daily basis if you have kids. You get up, you make sure they're up, you get them going, you eat breakfast with them, you're making sure they're in school, you're making sure that they're on their way, they text you, you're always tripping over their sneakers in their room, you're telling them to clean their room, you're telling them to take a shower, you're trying to figure out what they want for dinner, you go to the store, just there are so many things in your daily routine. My daily routine is that my oldest son and my husband were always gone by the time myself and Grayson got up. So Grace and I were always alone in the mornings. I would get up and get in the shower as Grayson was getting up, getting ready for school. So we usually ate breakfast together. Sometimes he made his crazy concoctions for breakfast, and sometimes he just went to school and ate breakfast there. He was just that type of kid. Once he got up and going, he was a morning person. But first getting up, not so much, like his mom. So the daily routine of, making sure that he was awake and getting him off of his phone, because teenagers love their phones. So that was always the thing. That's a reminder in the morning, because I don't have him with me in the morning now. It's very quiet. I'm absolutely by myself in the morning. Some mornings are good, some mornings are bad. I don't eat breakfast. I've just started eating again. And unintentionally, I have put feelings to food where I have a hard time. Not that I'm trying to keep it down, but I'm really trying to keep it down. I've done very well of keeping food down, so I've associated those things. So you don't realize how much things affect you. I feel guilty for eating. I've associated that, and that's not good. You go in his room, and there's daily reminders. It's still the same way as he left it. We haven't touched it. Not ready for that yet. Driving to work. I mean, you wouldn't think about, driving to work would remind you. We're car people. So we were always, I grew up with cars. Grayson absolutely loved cars. We go to car shows, and he had a few cars that he absolutely loved, and I see those on a daily basis. I pass, the Challengers, and he loved those. So every time I see one, I think of him. I see a car that I'm usually pretty good about recognizing cars, and there are ones that I have no clue, and all I want to do is reach out to text him, and I'm like, I can't text him. I can't figure out what that car is. So those are daily reminders. Going to the grocery store. Do you think a daily reminder of going to the grocery store would make you think about someone? I walk down, because I don't do the shopping, my husband does. He's an absolutely beautiful person for that. Does all the cooking too. He's a good husband. But you go down the aisles at the grocery store and like, oh man, Grayson would love that. Or that used to be Grayson's favorite. Or God, he loved those. Or God, he hated those. Every single aisle, there was something to remind you of. Going to the flipping grocery store is a daily reminder. Dinner. You think dinner wouldn't remind you? We went from the 4 of us to now the 2 of us. So my husband was always cooking dinner for 2 very hungry boys. And now he's only cooking dinner for just 2 adults that don't eat a whole heck of a lot anymore. So it's a little difficult for that, because you don't know how to adjust. Just going to my car in the morning to get in my car, or pulling in the garage or coming home, all his tools are still there where he left them, because he loved woodworking. He loved welding. And he has a lot of tools in the garage. They're still there. You see a bald eagle. A lot of people think of patriotic type things. Bald eagles are very sacred. Of me being part Native American, absolutely those. And they have a special meaning in my husband's family because his dad, which is Grace and my oldest son's grandpa, always loved bald eagles. And every time we saw one, we always said, "Hey, that's Pop watching over us." So now when you see a bald eagle, it's Grayson watching over us. So that's why we have a bald eagle. So those were daily reminders. I talked about doing the chores, taking the trash out. I ball my eyes, taking the trash out. Again, that was his job. Going around and getting all the trash. I am literally crying over cat poop and trash because they're daily reminders. So you don't think the impact of a family who is grieving on a daily basis. There was something that I found, haven't shared it, but it's in one of the grieving mothers groups, that you have the 5 different stages of grief that people go through until they can get over their grief. You never get over your grief. And those 5 stages you go through a daily basis. Daily. I say moment by moment. Still living that. I've learned how to breathe again, but I'm still going moment to moment. So with the reminders, you have daily effects on your life, how things affect you, and it will affect your sanity. Because you cling so hard to the idea that you wish this wasn't reality. You find yourself in a dual reality of how your brain tells you one thing and your heart's telling you something else. So it affects you. It's affected my job. I have never been one. All of us have a very strong work ethic. My husband does, and both of our boys learned that from us. And I love my job. Absolutely love my job. Love what I do. But it's affected it. I've canceled on people, and I've never canceled on my clients before, and I feel horribly guilty. But I also know that I have to because I can't function. Sorry, I'm trying not to cry. Hope I have good mascara. I don't want to lose anything in my job, but I know my clients understand it, and my co-studio owners, they have been such a blessing. They really, really have been such a blessing, but it does affect your job, and in that it affects your sanity. It does affect everything around you. It affects your health. Like I said, I just started eating again. My heart still hurts. I feel like I'm having heart palpitations every so often. Severely dehydrated. I have headaches constantly. I know I need to see my chiropractor because I feel out of sorts. Affects your thoughts, definitely, along with the sanity. There are moments that I will be honest and real with you because everyone knows that I'm trying to get you to understand that for the ones who have been through this, you do understand. For the ones that don't, it gives you an idea. It's not easy, and there are times that I've sat in my car and downright had some serious conversations with my husband. When I say it affects your sanity, is I've had moments that I've admitted I don't want to be here anymore. I know we've made a promise to each other, but it hurts beyond words that I've thought about just leaving, not existing, just to stop the pain. The pain can be so overwhelming that you literally do not want to exist anymore. And no matter what anybody says, stay strong. You can do this. Stay for me. In that moment, just like Grayson was, in that moment, you see no other option. And that's where you are on a daily basis. That's how it affects your sanity. That's how it affects your job. That's how it affects how you approach people, how people approach you. It affects your daily routine. It affects your marriage. My husband and I are solid. Absolutely. 23 years of marriage, nothing ever rocked us like this. We're fine. Don't think that. But there are moments that you look at each other and you try very hard to stay strong for them. You start hiding. You start not talking. I have a very bad tendency to shut down, and I don't talk to anybody, and that's not good. So it affects things. It affects those around you. It affects everything. For the feelings and emotions, for everything that I just told you, but it also, the guilt is another thing that will burden your sanity. As a parent, you don't realize the guilt that you carry because if your child did something wrong and if they've gotten in trouble, you have a little bit of guilt, but you also know that, well, you did that, you got in trouble. The guilt that you carry when your child commits suicide because you couldn't help them, because they were in such a place that you felt like you drove them to do this. You felt like it's your fault. I can tell you right now the guilt that my husband and I carry, no one will understand. That guilt is so strong, and that's another reason why you just want the pain to stop, that you don't want to be here. The guilt that you carry will be until my dying day, until I can see his face again. The anger that you carry rises up out of nowhere, and with things that people say, they don't mean it, or they don't think about what they say. I've always suffered from PTSD because of my past, and I've told you guys about my past from the sexual abuse and being raped. You have humiliation because you have people that say things that triggers that guilt. And I can honestly tell you, if you've not been raped, you have no idea what humiliation is like. I've heard people say that they are humiliated because they got a divorce, that their marriage didn't work. You have no reason to feel that. I promise you. When I was raped, the humiliation is that I caused that. That was my fault. You hear those things when your child dies from suicide. People say things. And I will skip ahead. The reason why I keep saying that is because I started looking around at my post being shared, and also for the Live 5 that was shared numerous times, and I'm grateful for that. But people have a tendency to say things, and I felt guilt, humiliation, and pure anger that I've never experienced before, as a person had made the comment that they can't understand why Grayson killed himself over a speeding ticket. The expectations of the parents must have been too high for him. I'm just going to say, what the fuck? Sorry for my language. That hurt. I had to back out of that very, very quickly before I responded. You have no idea what goes on in my home and how we took pride in making sure that we were on course with our kid and had no problem. He had no expectations to live up to whatsoever, except for the fact of not to lie and to tell us when he got into trouble. If that's the expectation that you are fucking worried about, then you need to go see a therapist for a self. Let me stop before I get angry. See? Emotions, they just rise up out of anywhere. That hurt. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to write about humiliation. For all of those who have felt that, I promise you, I understand that feeling way too personal. And if you ever felt humiliated by anything, take my strength, because I can promise you there's nothing to feel humiliated for. You are allowing yourself to feel that, and you don't need to feel that, because we are humans. We make mistakes. Learn from it. It is not something that you should feel that, because we have all gone through things. My mom has been married and divorced, I think 4 or 5 times. I've done things that, that I should, don't. But don't make a grieving person feel that either, for your lack of understanding. So with that, I will go into what to tell people and what not to tell people. Everyone sends their love. Everyone says, if there's anything I can do for you. And we love that. We really, really do. Absolutely love that. Is there anything that you can do? No. Except the fact that we tell everybody to pray. I've told you before, I'm not a religious person. I'm a very spiritual person. I will take prayers, light candles, go out, run around in the full moon naked. I don't care what you do. I appreciate it all. We appreciate it all. It is one thing that when people send their love, you have no idea how much that means to us, because we do appreciate it. It is okay to be at a loss of words. You don't have to speak. Just your presence being there is wonderful. No one knows exactly what to say. We were in the same boat. We didn't know what to say when this happened to other people. Just all I can do is just give you my energy, as most of you have given to us. A lot of you like to hug. I'm usually a hugger, but please do not be offended when I tell you I can't. Don't touch me. Because those are the moments that I'm trying desperately to keep it together. I'm trying desperately to hold on to what little strength that I have at that moment, because if you hug me, I'm going to lose it, and it's not going to be pretty. People understand that. I do, but don't be offended, because I've seen the look in some people's eyes when I just say, don't hug me. I can't right now. So please, I know I am more approachable than my son is. I try to protect him as much as possible, but he's trying to deal with this in his own way, and you guys reaching out to him is absolutely beautiful. And to my husband, all of you, your words, your presence, just being there in the present moment, that is absolutely beautiful, and that's what means the most. So yes, keep the prayers coming. Keep thinking about us. Keep listening. I'm not going anywhere. I am going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep talking. And that's another thing that people, we're becoming recognized wherever we go. We've had our drinks paid for at a restaurant. We've had someone come up to us at a bar and just hug me. Perfect stranger, had no clue. And she goes, I'm praying for you. I'm like, thank you. I'm not asking for you to do that. If you feel like you need to do that, that is absolutely wonderful. Just know that I'm not going anywhere. In the groups, there are people that say things to others that we are sharing stories. Things not to say to a grieving parent is, it'll get easier, it'll get better, in time all it will heal, and you will get over it. That's all bullshit. You will never heal, you will never get over it, and times will not get better. I'm a mother of 2 children. I don't have that anymore. I'm a mother of 1. I love him so much. And every day I text him, because every day is a reminder that I'm still here without a child, and I'm still here with my son. So every day I remind him that I love him. And every day I remind my husband that I love him. My heart will never heal. I will never get over this. I will learn to live with this. I will always be a mother of a child who died. That will never ever change. So don't ever tell anyone the time heals all wounds, that they will get over that. Another thing that has been said is there's a certain stopping point of grieving. It's like, okay, you need to pull yourself and get together. Get it together. Pull yourself together. I've been talking to parents who've been grieving for their children for over 20 years. They still can't pull themselves together at times. That is not something that you talk to a parent about. Pull yourself together is not an option. Surviving is an option. But you can't just say, oh, just get over it. Pull yourself together. You'll be fine. Just like telling a depressed person, oh, you're not depressed. You'll be fine. Please don't say things like that. And that's the reason why I wanted to have these things, because listening to these other parents talk and what they say, and I've had 2 instances where talking to people and they asked, if you don't mind me asking, why did he do this? And I say, because of a speeding ticket and other things that went through that. And they look at me, that's it? That's all? Please don't say things like that. No reason is a good reason to commit suicide, but please don't ever put it like that. Like him committing suicide over a speeding ticket. That's just stupid. How much I would like to go back in time and change things over a goddamn speeding ticket. But I can't. So please don't ever say things like that to a grieving parent. For whatever reason their child leaves, you don't need to unintentionally be insensitive. So please understand that a parent will never get over it. Will never heal from it. Time won't get better. Or from what I've heard is that he was meant to go to heaven for a reason. Or God had to take him now for a reason. I don't care whatever reason it was. Did not have to happen. Again, I know people are trying to be nice. But there are certain things that you just don't say to a grieving parent. And that's why I'm trying to have these talks, because I want to make awareness. Suicide sucks. This pain sucks. I don't want anybody else to have this pain. I don't want my husband to have this pain. I don't want my son to have this pain. And I could take it all away, I would. But I want to start educating the people. Starting this page, I wanted to educate people on personal growth, because I got over things. I don't want to say get over. I learned how to be strong. I learned how to deal with my past and how to be an advocate, not a victim. So as of right now, I am trying to be an advocate for all the others for suicide. Military vets who've committed suicide. I have a wonderful ex-coworker that lost her husband due to PTSD, and it was overwhelming, and she's learning to live again, and she has been a great advocate for me, supporting me. There have been firefighters and police officers that I support in my business 100%, that I'm trying to help, because they die more by their own hands than they do in the light of business. And teenagers, preteens are dying at their own hands because of the stress that our world is now. And I'm going to start doing more talks and more lives in here. So if you really want to start becoming aware of what is going on in your child's life, in your spouse's life, or anybody's life, talk to your kids. I don't care how young they are. These kids are dying in middle school. 10, 11, 12, 13. They're killing themselves because of school, because of social media, because of everything that is in our world. It's changed so much that these kids are under so much stress for social media to look good, to be a certain way, to have a certain thing, to have a certain attitude, or to have a certain look on your page. Or I know a parent who told me that their child committed suicide because they didn't get a good grade on a test that they needed to have. You know, my son got a speeding ticket he killed himself over. Your child killed yourself over a bad grade on a test. What is wrong with our world where these kids feel that they have something that they cannot do this? We need, as parents, we have to have these conversations. And I had those conversations with Grayson. I did. I'm not naive to how dark our world is. I grew up in it. And he was very aware of what happened to me. And he was such an advocate. These kids that are telling me these stories, I love it. He has saved so many. And these kids are so lost, and they're reaching out to me, especially today with his birthday. They're like, I don't know how to cope with this. So I have become him in saying that you can do this. It's freaking hard. How do you think I feel? How do you think my husband feels? How do you think his brother feels? We all have to learn to live without him, and it sucks because he was the bright light in all of our lives. He was the one that said, life is going to be okay. And this happens. So with that, I urge you, stop what you're doing. Stop being so busy. Take a moment. Sit with your child. Mental health is a real, live problem with children and adults. But if we can stop it in our children, our world as adults can be infected 100%. If we can get to the bottom of what's going on with them, whether it's their phone, whether it's social media, whether it's school, or whatever it's the pressures that they feel that they can't talk to you, change that. Be their advocate. All of you are telling me to stay strong, and I'm trying like hell. I want you to stay strong. Please hold your children. Please hug your children. Because I don't want you to have to deal with these emotions that I have of guilt, anger, humiliation, PTSD. And yes, I have PTSD once more because now I can't stand to see an ambulance without having a panic attack. I can't see a cop car go down the road with the lights on without having a panic attack. I want so much for you guys to hold on to your children because I can't. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to keep sharing. I'm going to keep crying on you. I am going to be in your face for months, years, until someone starts listening. because I want to be the voice that others can't. I want to be that parent that goes out and is on the news, that is on CNN, that is on the stages of high schools, that is anywhere, church groups, whatever I can get in front of, I'm going to be there. I am not going anywhere. If I have to stay strong, you have to stay strong. You're with me now because all of you have become my family, and all of you that have reached out and become friends. I don't make friends easy. I push a lot of people away. It's very difficult for me to make friends. I've always been like that. But I'm learning to be better. I'm learning to be better. So I love all of you. Thank you for being on here. I see the comments. I promise I will get back to you. And the hashtag Live for Grayson, is because we just made a hashtag that thought it was nice. The hashtag Live for Grayson is because I need that daily reminder, because I have to live. I have to wake up every single morning and know that my child is not with me. But I have to wake up every single morning and know that my other child is living a life just as full as pain, and that he has his child to live for. I have to wake up every single morning to know that I have to live for my husband and that he has to live for me. We made a promise to each other, and it's hard as it is to keep that promise. We made those promises. So hashtag Live for Grayson is meant for all of you, that accountability. If you can't live for yourself, you have someone to live for. Live for him. Because I have to do it. You have to do it. So hashtag Live for Grayson. And this Saturday, 2 days from now, well, day and a half actually, please join us in our backyard at our house. A lot of you were invited. We've shared it over and over again. There's going to be a crap load of people here. And I'm going to address all of you once again the same way as other people. We want you to know that we're throwing the biggest birthday party that Grayson has never seen, but he will see up in heaven. And this woman, Rose, has taken this above and beyond, and we can't thank her enough. So if you're not doing anything, it's a drop-in. You don't have to be there right at, but 12 to 5, please be there. We've had people, absolutely beautiful, wonderful people, make us t-shirts that we'll be wearing. They're absolutely perfect. Can't think of enough without start crying. They did the hashtag Live for Grayson, so I thank you for that from the bottom of my heart. I love you guys. Thank you. Not going anywhere. I'll see you again. Stay strong, my warriors. Good night.